A lot of young entrepreneurs, when they speak to me, they often say that they have a lot of self-doubt, insecurity, and they're not sure how to deal with this. My usual answer to this is that you are under-executed, not under-qualified. Now, I'll give a simple example for this. There are two lines, two parallels. One is the parallel of thought, and the other is the parallel of execution. Two lines going up. The problem here is no matter in which line you start from zero. Most often you start in thought. You think of something the first 10%, 20%, and you thrive for perfection. So you wait till you get 100% before you start executing. The problem here is that once you reach 100% in thought and you jump to execution, the execution itself starts at zero. You expect the execution to start at 100% as well. And this disparity and confusion in parallels is what causes disappointment and a lot of people give up. It's called valley of despair. The problem you need to fix here is that whatever you start in starts from zero. So you need to figure out which starting point is the best point. Is it thought? Is it execution? Is it experiment? I would recommend it's execution because execution gets you result, not thoughts. So when you start with execution, you unfortunately start with zero, but over time you get to 10, 20, 30%. And that's when you start seeing results. I can give you many examples for this. When I was young, I was really bad at debating. I was bad at speaking publicly. And I would always think why that's the case. I would watch so many shows, so many movies, I would read books, but I was still underconfident about it. I was still nervous about it. I still doubted myself. But the day I started executing, the day I started attending more debate events, the day I started speaking more publicly, I was terrible, of course. I started at zero. Over time, 1 year, 2 year, I got really good at it. And now suddenly I was among the best in my school simply because I started executing. So you need to understand the difference between thought experiment and actual execution. This is another reason a lot of founders usually don't hire from universities and colleges because you have people studying for 4 or 5 years every single day without any experience in execution. The same person who drops out and executes for 3, 4 years nonstop, they now have 4 years of experience. I would rather pay someone with 4 years of executive experience than theoretical experience. And this differentiator makes a lot of difference in hiring someone. This doesn't just act in hiring, it also works towards entrepreneurship. Because in entrepreneurship, one of the most crucial thing is time. A lot of good entrepreneurs are built over time in 6 years, 7 years, 10 years. But problem is most young entrepreneurs spend too much time in thought process and less on execution. And this prolongates their time frame. So instead of 5, 10 years, they now have to be an entrepreneur for 15, 20 years to become qualified. Remember, qualified in execution, not qualified theoretically. So this is one of the biggest reasons why so many young entrepreneurs have self-doubt is because they have no proof of work. This is something I understood through designing as well. In my early days of career, I became a designer and I started designing. Now, practice is one thing, but having proof of work is another. Proof of work is basically making sure that you design free websites for people, do internships, do freelancing, actually work as a designer and build proof of work over time. That forms into your portfolio. Then you leverage a portfolio to get jobs. Entrepreneurship works the same way. You run one company, you fail at it. You run second company, you fail at it. You start a third company, you do much better. You start a fourth company, you do even better. Over time, you build a portfolio of success. Majority of them are failures, but because you executed, you gained plus one experience. You might not have increased the bank account, but you gained experience. And this is the difference between execution and just thinking about something. So the next time you have self-doubt, insecurity, remember you're thinking of perfection and you're starting at zero when you execute. So instead of thriving for perfection, actually execute, build a portfolio. And this can be in any case. It could be in basketball. Instead of watching a lot of basketball videos, instead of watching a lot of skateboarding videos, go out there and actually play the sport. Go out there and actually skateboard. Go out there and actually run businesses. Go out there and actually sell. Go out there and actually apply for interviews and job. Go out there and actually start a company. Do it all. When you execute, you build real experience.